Martinez here with my good friend Martha Fierro, who is from Houston, Texas. We just, her and her family, and myself, and a bunch of conservative leaders, mostly moms, are in Bedford, Texas this weekend in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex, working together on how to bring conservative moms to action. And so we had a great time seeing each other last night and a bunch of the friends and family. But yesterday, one of the things we talked about, Martha, and I know that some of the national organizations want to pick up on this, but we were at the state capitol, and we were having a prayer rally. And what we want you guys to know is that it was a prayer rally that Martha and her team have been primarily leading for almost 3 years, and they were told to get out. They were told they couldn't pray. We've got video that we're going to show you, and then we'll have a longer conversation about this. But Martha, tell them real quickly how many years, how many people, and who you are. And by the way, Martha's running for Senate in the Houston area. Her daughter,
Yes.
Angel, is running for Congress in the area. I've endorsed both of them. Sid Miller's endorsed both of them. Different organizations like Pastors PAC and Texas Freedom PAC are endorsing them as well. And, we have to take the fight to those areas that Republicans have traditionally left vulnerable. So, but today we're talking about prayer and how prayer was told by officials you couldn't take place in the rotunda any longer. So, Martha, thank you for being here. I know we've been working through some technical difficulties, but just explain to the people out there that are going to watch this now and watch this over time what took place.
First of all, I just want to thank you, Weston Martinez and Sid Miller, because you have been imperative in this fight. When we were approached by the State Preservation Board, Joseph Randall, right away, the Lord told me to call you. And that you were going to be able to help us. So I really appreciate what you've been doing and just helping us with this situation. And yes, I'm running to be your next state senator in Senate District 6. If you're watching this right now, this is in the area of Houston, Texas, in Harris County, as well as my daughter running for Congress to be the next Congresswoman for Congress District 29. And I have been the founder of Texas Rotunda Prayer and Worship. And it's basically pastors and ministers that have been going for 3 years to the Texas Capitol every third or fourth Saturday of the month, depending if there's holidays or things like that, and the place is closed. But we have been there very faithfully praying for our state legislators, praying for our governor, praying for business to be conducted in the state capitol in a peaceful manner. And let me tell you, it has been quite a journey where state legislators such as Mace Middleton, Steve Toad, we have had many of these guests come in and pray with us for 3 years. Do you understand? And they have told us, even Senator Brandon Creighton, they have seen us and they said that's why we're able to conduct business in the people's house, because of the fact that you, Martha, and your team are always here. You're always praying. You're praying for peace. You're praying for everything in our capital. For our children, for every single thing. And so 3 years ago is when we started this. And so what happened was that this past weekend on Saturday, we went in there and with about 200 pastors, ministers, worship leaders around 5 o'clock. And the State Preservation Board, a gentleman by the name of Joseph Randall, he was saying that he was going through, jogging through the Texas Capitol, and that he got a wind of it. That's what he said, his words, got a wind of this, okay? Of course, he didn't look like he was jogging, right? And I don't know who will jog through the Texas Capitol Rotunda, but that's what he did. And he told us that we were doing was wrong. He said that we needed to stop to it. And I said, sir, but we've been doing this for 3 years. I named Robert, who I've been coordinating with. I said, we at the beginning had permission, but he said that Robert said from the beginning, from 12 to 1, if you are doing any type of performance, he said, then you need permission. But because you're after, then you don't need permission at all. This is the people's house. You can do business here. You can go ahead and pray. You can worship. So we've been doing it for 3 years. And so then Joseph said, no, well, you can't do it. And I said, well, why not, sir? He said, well, you just can't. You can't do it here. I said, but you're going against our freedom of speech. You're going against our freedom of religion. Do you understand that the Constitution is on our side? And he said, it does
And
not
we're going to
matter.
show the video in just a minute as well. So, yeah, we're going to show the video in just a minute for those of y'all that are watching. But we just wanted to get a quick wind up on what's taking place. And Martha, whenever you were approached by the staffer, they told you guys that you couldn't pray in the Capitol, and they told you that your guitars were a weapon.
Yes, they did.
So just to get people that aren't from Texas, the Texas Capitol, because we have our First Amendment and our Second Amendment, you have the ability, if you wanted to carry a long rifle, AR-15, deer rifle, shotgun, whatever, if you want to put it on a strap and walk around the Capitol, inside the Texas Capitol with that, you can do it. No problem. But guitars, that's a little too unsafe. You might hurt somebody. So the only reason I'm pointing it out, the hypocrisy like that, is because, it's the same reason why, we couldn't get voter fraud passed. Same reason why we couldn't get school choice passed. It's stupidity that is intentional. These people think we're not going to follow up. And people like Martha and her family and all of the prayer team and prayer warriors that have been going to this place for now almost 3 years, they think we're just going to, get on the cattle car and let ourselves be taken to the gas chambers. Well, guess what? We're not. We're going to fight for our rights, and we're going to fight for our freedoms. And that's why we wanted to highlight what was going on here today. Now, Martha, real quickly, the individuals that were saying this, just recap who it was that was telling you, and then we'll go to the video and show people, because honestly, guys, you won't even believe it. You'll think you're in California. But Martha, tell them who came at it first, who followed up with, and just tell them who we're going to see in the video in just a second.
You will see Joseph Randall talking to us. He's the staffer. He says he's a coordinator for the SPB, State Preservation Board. And you see that he grabbed, I believe, the young woman you'll see in a blue shirt, blue blouse, came out of nowhere, right? And on a Saturday afternoon, and she said she's the manager. And we couldn't get her name clearly out, but yeah, we're still gonna find out what her name is and everything. I believe it might be Barbara, but that she's right there beside him. And then we have Macias, State Trooper Macias, who decided, they sent him so that he can stop us and get us out and kick us out. That's what he was doing.
And he's following orders, whether we like it or not.
We understand.
Clearly,
We truly understand.
Clearly, though, I've got friends in the Constitutional Sheriff's and Police Officers Association, and one of the things that we try really hard to teach officers is the constitutionality of a sheriff or a law enforcement individual and how they have sworn an oath to uphold and protect. So let me roll this video real quick and let the people hear what exactly was going on. And I think they're gonna freak out. Stand by, almost there. just real quick, let's just for everybody to get their head on right. Right? You can hear me, Martha?
Yes.
Okay. So again, we've got a law enforcement DPS trooper that was sent after this other person coincidentally just came driving, jogging by, and now we have this lady as backup that is also with the state, who's reaffirming that yes, you can't pray in here. Yes, you have to go outside.
Yes.
You got the players right.
Yes.
So there's more to the video. We're going to fast forward to the part where everybody's walking out. But your husband was just now interacting with the police officer and clarifying. Uh, so we have the guitar, and I love your husband. He's so great. He's just so matter of fact that it's just like common sense. Like, really, the water is not wet. Um, so just talk briefly about your husband's interaction with the DPS trooper.
I think it was when he was basically telling him about the fact of the matter that we're able to be allowed to pray there, um, and be able to be allowed to worship there. And I think he just kept asking the officer, which they kept going back and forth. They kept going. One thing was yes, then another thing was no, then one thing was yes, and it just kept flip flopping over and over. And it's like it was just a strange. Well, it's not a strange ordeal because we notice that's what they've been doing. Okay, that's what they've been doing, right? The leftist agenda. That's what they've been doing, and this is what it is. Let's not call it anything else. We really believe this was a setup. It was something that they already had set that they were going to do, and even if we were there for 3 years, it did not matter. They were going to call it whatever they wanted to call it, and they were saying that we were very organized. We're just pastors and ministers praying. We're doing this for 3 years, and they were making it seem like we were an organized crime, right? Like you said, an AR can go in there and go and a whole, you could take guns, you could take everything, but they were telling us that our instruments were, they were a menace to the Capitol. They were dangerous, and it was like, wow. I mean, they didn't even see my Bible. That was a sword.
There you
Uh,
go. Yeah.
but yes, and as we stand, I mean, basically, they didn't want us there. We know for a fact that the rotunda is a heart of Texas, and that's what we're fighting for. And you need
Right.
pastors and ministers to be involved in this fight, and that's what we were doing to make sure that we
Well,
get our traditional values, our biblical values back in Texas.
right. And I mean, look, like I told, like when, and thank you for inviting me to be one of the pastors that prayed out there. I've done that before with you guys. And, as we were talking, you're like, well, what do I do? I said, follow their instructions and let's go outside and we'll fight this. We'll fight this on a bigger stage. And, never would I have thought that they would have followed through with having everybody leave. I mean, we were there with the Capital of the Kingdom tour with, Turning Point USA. And
Yes.
as you know, I got them to let us use Steve Toth's badge to bring everybody in. And we probably had like 500 people inside there praying.
I think it
So,
was 1,500, Weston. It was 1,500 people.
okay, well, sometimes I minimize things. But yeah, there was a one in front of that. Sorry about that. But that had never happened before in the Kingdom to Capitol tour, where they actually went into the Capitol and prayed. And as
Yeah.
we told you when I was praying, God just really had impressed on my heart to remind the people that God allows man sometimes to make things difficult on Christians to get them where they really need to go. And we have all kinds of pharaohs that try to show up, but we as Christians have authority. And the good thing, as we were praying that night, one of the things that I said is, you know what? That we might be out of the Capitol, out of the rotunda, but the people of Austin need to hear these prayers, need to hear this worship. And when we go back, we're going to be in both locations. We're going to be inside and we're going to be outside because it's God's house. And as I shared with the people there, that most people don't know, the reason we have the number of senators in Texas is because of the Proverbs. And the reason we have the number of House members is because of the Psalms. So as we this is there's a lot there's several elected officials that are helping us with this to figure out what's going on. And my good friend Sid Miller, the ex-ag commissioner, who has endorsed both you and your daughter for your elections. And I know that you've already been interacting with Mays Middleton to also help get to the bottom of this. So we're thankful for those guys helping out in figuring out why our religious freedoms are being trampled upon. But as we wrap up this segment now, we're going to talk about it more later. Martha, tell everybody when the next rotunda prayer on the South Lawn is going to be. And don't worry, guys, we've got room for about 25,000 people without a problem. So, Martha, tell them when it happens and what where they can go to for information about this, so they can get updates, and how they can follow you on social media so they can also get updates.
Okay, so we are going back to the Texas Rotunda, and that is going to take place March the 23rd at 5 p.m. March 23rd at 5 p.m. We will meet you at the Texas Capitol, right in front of the Capitol, the South Steps. And we start at 5 o'clock. We'll be worshiping and praying, and we're going to have a variety of pastors and ministers and worship leaders. And Weston will be there. We pray, and other legislators will be there that will be joining us. And it's gonna be awesome. A time of worship and prayer for our government, for our people, for the people's house. And you can go to Facebook, and our group is under Texas Rotunda Prayer and Worship. It's public. And as well, you can follow me at Fierro for Texas, and also Martha Fierro. And we will gather together. And you know what? I'm gonna give my number out because that's the kind of person I am. I don't care. Listen, 832-647-0226. That's my number. Text me, call me, send me a message, and let me know you want to join us, you want to do some worship, you want to pray. We'll put you on our schedule. We need pastors and ministers from the state of Texas to come and join us and make sure that we say it out loud. We are not stopping, and the Lord will not permit it. You can't stop us because we are in
Right.
our right. God gave us this right to pray, to worship, and you don't. Government has no right to take it away from pastors and ministers like us. So join us March 23rd, Saturday at 5 p.m. Texas Capitol.
And don't worry, if it's going to be a beautiful sunshiny day. The bluebonnets are going to be out, and we're going to have such an awesome time. Nobody's even going to get sunburned. So get involved. This is going out right now today. Election day is going on. Get out there and vote. Martha and I and Angel, her daughter, and Sid Miller, we're working hard to make sure that good people are elected in office across the state of Texas and beyond. And trust me, there's a lot of stuff going on. We're working hard with a lot of different organizations. And again, it was great to see you, Martha, this weekend. Thank you for hosting me up there at the the Moms Conference. And that was a great, great, great organization. And again, don't you dare think they're going to stop prayer in Texas. So God bless you guys. And share
God
this video. Like and follow Martha's information and mine as well. Thanks so much. God bless.
God bless. God bless Texas.